Good morning and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I am Razzle11 and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. Going to take a look at some pitching for today, March 29th. We have an 8-game main slate on tap for us tonight after yesterday's opening day action. Decent opening day, wasn't amazing. Definitely saw the offenses that we expected to put up runs. Definitely did. So uh, we'll get into today right away. This, as a reminder, this is kind of a first look at pitching on a main slate. Some days we will glance at some of the other slates, depending on their size. But today, the 2-game early slate's pretty straightforward. Strider, Peralta, maybe a little Wheeler. Probably not much Quintana, even though I don't think the Brewers lineup is all that dangerous overall. I do think they are kind of dangerous in this matchup today. But let's dig into the actual main slate um, and kind of get a first look at where we might want to look at some pitching options. A couple of big things. Arizona, massive favorite, minus 230. I know we don't want to use Vegas lines as our only deciding factor, but it is a good way to start to get an idea. Means Merrill Kelly probably going to be super popular. Gallen looked pretty solid yesterday against this Colorado squad. Didn't pick up the strikeouts, but that's all right. Early season, some guys just are more focused on getting outs rather than pushing their stuff to be dominant. So we see Merrill Kelly did strike out 28 in 19 innings against Colorado last season. Pretty strong. Great numbers at home as well. Very similar to Gallen. And Kelly's actual road splits were better than Gallen's. So tough to not love Merrill Kelly in the spot against Colorado. A lineup that I think is going to be pretty weak for most of the season, even though I do like hitters like Nolan Jones, Ezekiel Tovar. But so Kelly's going to definitely be high on my list. This game between Boston and Seattle is very interesting to me. I think both pitchers in this matchup have a ton of K upside. It is a pretty solid park to be pitching in. Kirby made 2 starts against Boston last year, 13 Ks and 11 2/3. Pretty strong. Did give up some hits, but that's all right. Again, you see strong home splits for Kirby. And Pavetta is one of my favorite guys overall, not necessarily just this slate. Struggled a bit against Seattle last year, but did have the strikeouts. He's capable of having monster strikeout performances. Uh, really shocked last year that they moved him to the bullpen for a while, and then when he came back, he just was dominant K wise. Uh, I kind of feel like he probably starts out the season really strong and maybe fades a little bit in the mid range, maybe even towards the end of the season, as he's been kind of bounced around by Boston between the bullpen and the rotation. Seattle and Kirby are minus 145 favorites in that one. Looking at the K props in that game, we are seeing both of them set at 6.5. Uh, Pavetta has the juice on the over. Kirby's is juice on the under. But as you can tell, that's a pretty strong K matchup uh, number compared to for Vegas. The only other one on the day that rivals it or actually beats it is the Strider Wheeler matchup for the day slate. So as you can see, there's going to be plenty of strikeouts, I think, in that matchup, or there's potential for plenty of strikeouts. Now, whether there actually is, not really sure. Um, Miller, Bobby Miller, taking on the Cardinals. Did struggle at home last year in his debut season. He is a minus 225 favorite on this slate, rocking a K prop of 5.5, but the juice is on the under. So maybe a lower number than we'd like to see, uh, but a strong favorite. Excellent pitcher. Expect to take a pretty big leap forward. So I'm definitely intrigued. One guy up here that I plan to potentially fade is Joe Musgrove. Uh, was not strong this spring. Was not good against the Dodgers in the Seoul series, and was lit up by the Giants last year. Just some things that just don't. I don't really like the trends. So I feel like we just don't need to pay 9,200 for Musgrove. To be honest, pay 200 more to get to Kelly, 200 less to get to Miller, 600 less to get to Bassett, who I'm very interested in, despite Tampa Bay being the favorite again. I'm not sure if I mentioned it yesterday on the show or if it was only in my notes, but I was definitely on Berrios much more than Eflin. Uh, I thought the Vegas line was wrong, and I still think it's wrong today. It's come down slightly, but I still think that Toronto's the best squad in this matchup, and I do think Tampa Bay is taking a step back overall. Bassett's K prop sitting at 5.5. Slight juice on the under, but pretty solid number. Most K props are probably going to be around 5.5, 4.5, and 5.5 early season. Another guy I'm kind of considering here is Kyle Harrison. Uh, People are going to look and see that he made a start against San Diego last year and was lit up, allowing 4 home runs in 5 2/3. Did take a look. 3 of those 4 home runs are no longer in the San Diego lineup. That's a big difference. I think Harrison is super talented. Uh, Gonna have some big time upside. Did struggle a lot on the road last season in his short stint in the majors. Uh, Starting out the year at the major league level, I think is going to help him in his confidence. So I am intrigued by the upside of Harrison. It is super volatile, but I do love that upside, and that's what we're looking for GPP wise. Another name I'm considering down here would be AJ Puck. I do have some questions, moving from the bullpen into the rotation after having some years of arm trouble that sent him to the bullpen. It's very interesting to see him sliding right back the other way. But I do like the Pitt offense as well. There's just a lot of upside in this spot. Uh, I'm just not sure if I want to play the volatile upside of it. His K prop is at 5.5, and the juice is firmly on the over. So he is one of the strongest K props on the slate, which is really interesting to see. Conversely, on the other side, Martin Perez, his opposing pitcher, his K prop is just 3.5 to show you, a pretty big difference in that matchup. So, uh, those are a couple names. I expect Martin Perez to get some love, and I may end up on him, but the initial numbers just don't seem too exciting. Uh, I'm just not sure if he'll showcase the big upside or not. I think I'm leaning towards fading the Javier Rodon matchup. That one's one we'll probably want to dig in more. Javier's had a ton of success against the Yankees. Um, Obviously, he had one pretty rough start last year for sure. 2 years ago, he no hit them in Yankee Stadium, I believe it was. Maybe it was at home. But I want to say it was in Yankee Stadium. So I'm not really sure I want to trust pitching in that matchup right now. Especially if Rodon looked pretty rough most of the spring, giving up a lot of home runs. Did struggle in a couple starts, giving up home runs against the Astros last year as well. So he's one of those guys that I know he has a ton of upside, but I just might want to wait and see until he's, I guess, right in quotation marks, whatever right might be for him. I don't expect him to return to the 2022 version of him. I think things just aligned perfectly, and he managed to stay mostly healthy in a contract year that allowed him to get paid. Uh, he's not somebody I want to rely on a whole lot this season, especially early in the season. So there we have it. There's a first look overview of some pitching. I will dig in more and have my notes updated on the DFS Army site over the next few hours. If you want to join us, I'll put links in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, RAZ. Should get you 10% off your monthly membership. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on to get the alerts anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. And as always, best of luck, everybody.